Think about the route to home from somewhere you go all the time, your office or school, a friend's house, or the grocery store. Half the time you get back and you realize you don't actually remember the drive or the walk. You weren't paying attention. You knew where you were going and just took the right turns. And the whole trip happened without you. You've done it so many times that your brain stopped bothering to be present for it. That's not a bad thing. That's your brain doing exactly what it's built to do. And once you understand why it does that, you understand almost everything about why you feel the way you feel and how to change it. Because your brain does not care what you want to be. It cares what you repeat. Every time you run a thought or an action, a specific set of neurons fires in a specific order. The first time, it's clumsy and slow, like the first time you ever tried to draw a straight line freehand, and it just came out wobbly. But do it again and again, and the neurons that keep firing in that order start to physically connect. The path gets wider, faster, easier to trigger. Fire together enough times, and they wire together. So the real question isn't what you want, it's what you're repeating. Reaching for your phone before your eyes are even open in the morning, opening the same app before you've decided to. Your thumb already knows where the icon is, replaying a conversation from 3 days ago and rewriting your side of it in the shower. Laying in the dark at 2 in the morning, scrolling, not even enjoying it, just doing it. Those aren't random bad moments, they're reps. And your brain is a good student. It doesn't judge what you're practicing, it just gets better at whatever you do the most. Entire life, right now. And here's the important part. It does not take sides. The same mechanism that lets a pianist's hands learn a piece without looking is the one quietly wiring your 2 a.m. scroll. It doesn't know good from bad. It only knows what you keep repeating versus the one-offs, which means the exact tool that dug you into this is the same tool that can dig you right back out. Your brain is listening to your actions, not your intentions. It cannot hear the version of you that wants to be calmer or more focused or off your phone by 11. It has no idea what you meant to do. It only counts what you actually did, and it builds you out of that. This is why the bad loops feel impossible to shake by just deciding to stop. When you run the same sequence over and over, your brain does something remarkable. It bundles the whole thing into a single unit, a chunk, and hands it down to the basal ganglia, the physical part in your brain that runs your automatic programs. Neuroscientists literally watch this happen. As animals learn the route by heart, the busy, deliberating parts of the brain went silent, and the sequence started running on its own. That's the same machinery that stores tying your shoes, or the drive home, or brushing your teeth without a single conscious thought. Once a behavior lives down there, your conscious brain doesn't have to be involved anymore, which is exactly what makes a habit feel effortless, and exactly what makes it so hard to stop by just deciding to. Because it fires on its own before you've decided anything. That's why you're already 3 wheels deep before you remember you picked up the phone just to check the time. And here's the part most people don't know. This isn't only about movements. The scientists who mapped this and Graybill lab at MIT found the same habit machinery runs, what she calls habits of thought and emotion. So when you catastrophize a normal text 100 times or rephrase the worst version of a conversation, that can get chunked and automated the same way a physical routine does. You're not just stressed in the moment, you've been practicing a habit of thought until it runs by itself. You've become fluent at panicking and anxiety. This is Hebb's law playing out in real life. Neurons that fire together wire together. And it's exactly why willpower on its own always caves. You cannot sit quietly and think your way out of a road that's already paved. You can promise yourself you'll be different tomorrow and mean it completely. And your basal ganglia will still run the old program the second your guard drops. Regardless of what you want, your prior repetition formed a system that will overrule your intention. But automation running without you isn't only a trap. Built on purpose, it's the most powerful thing you have. And there's a story I keep coming back to that says it better than any brain scan. When I was around 10, we moved to Canada from China. And when I was struggling with learning English, I desperately wanted to hang on to something familiar. I discovered a bunch of Chinese novels on my dad's bookshelf. There's a novel called 射雕英雄传, The Legend of the Condor Heroes by Jin Yong. The main character, Guo Jing, is not clever, but incredibly disciplined and hardworking. Everyone around him picks up new techniques in the afternoon, but he's slow, and he can't think his way to anything fancy. So he does the only thing he can do. He repeats the same forms, the same movements, over and over and over for years, long past the point where it's boring, long past where anyone else would have quit. Then comes one of his first real fights, and he knows he can't outthink the people he's up against. But something happens he never planned for. A spear comes at him, and before his slow brain even registers the danger, his hand is already moving. He sensed the change faster than he could think, and his hand had already caught the spear. And it's not a one-time thing. Later he gets knocked clean off of his feet, falling through open air, and his body knows how to break the fall before his mind has any say in it. His reps saved him, not the thinking. Jin Yong described him as 熟能生巧是生不出的，熟极而流却也差相仿佛。In his description, there's a proverb that's frequently used to teach kids to practice and be disciplined. 熟能生巧. Practice makes you clever, get familiar enough, and you start inventing new things. This proverb never made much sense to me as a kid. Why would practice make someone smarter? It just doesn't add up. Guo Jing was never going to reach that level. He simply wasn't built for clever. So Jin Yong used the phrase 熟极而流 to describe him. It means when you've done something so many times, it just flows right out of you. No thought required. When I read that, I remember thinking that this proverb made much more sense. The word 流 simply means flow. And I thought it's not just Guo Jing. Everyone is like this. No one will become clever by doing something repeatedly. But if we practice something relentlessly, in the moment it mattered, our body will be faster than our mind. Little did I know at the time that this is backed by science. That's the basal ganglia at play. Guo Jing's success in the book was rooted in his repetitions. And the beautiful part is he didn't have to be smart for it to work. He just had to show up and do the same thing more times than anyone else. You can't delete a habit. There's no button for that. You can only give the brain a new pattern, a louder one, and repeat it so many times it becomes the thing your hands reach for first. And it works best when it's physical, something your brain does while your nervous system comes down off the ledge. For me, that's the drawing. Not because drawing is magic, because it's repeatable. Same corner of the desk, same sketchbook, same 20 minutes, whether I feel like it or not. Some days, the line is wobbly again, and I don't care, because I'm not doing it to make something good. I'm doing it to lay down a rep, like Guo Jing and his forms. It's not about being brilliant at it. It's about doing it so many times the reach for the pen becomes as automatic as the reach for the phone. That's the whole game, moving the default from one to the other. That's neuroplasticity working for you instead of against you. You spent years practicing panic without ever calling it practice. So you practice calm the same way you practice a panic or stress or anxiety, on purpose, over and over, on the boring days especially, until your brain finally stops asking and just does it. Until calm becomes 熟极而流, the thing that flows out of you before you've even thought about it. So don't try to think your way calm. Build it. Pick up the pen and let's put in a rep.